We can see the classification of cost. The objectives of cost accounting system requires that the cost should be ascertained, classified and grouped. Cost classification may be defined as the process of grouping cost according to their common characteristics. The following are the basis on which cost can be classified: according to elements, according to functions, according to nature or behavior, according to controllability, according to normality, according to relevance to decision making and control. Now we can see the cost classification according to the elements. According to this classification, the costs are divided into three: material cost, labor cost, and expenses. Material cost. It is defined by CIMA as the cost of commodities other than fixed assets introduced into products or consumed in the operation of an organization. It may be of two types: direct material cost and indirect material cost. Direct material cost is the cost of materials entering into and becoming constituent element of a product or saleable service. Cost of cloth in garment, cost of wood in furniture, cost of pig iron in foundry, etc. are examples of direct material cost of respective products. Indirect material cost is material cost other than direct material cost. Oil, grease, consumable stores, printing and stationery material are a few examples of indirect cost. Labor cost. It may relate to direct labor cost or indirect labor cost. Direct labor cost is the cost of remuneration for employees' efforts and skills applied directly to a product or saleable service. Wages paid to a carpenter is an example of labor cost. Indirect labor cost is the labor cost other than the direct labor cost. Wages of storekeepers, foremen, supervisors are examples of direct labor cost. The next one is expenses. It may relate to direct or indirect expenses. Direct expenses refer to the cost other than the materials or wages. They are incurred for a specific product or saleable service. Cost of special layout, design or drawing, hire of special machinery required for a contract are examples of direct expenses. Indirect expenses refer to the expenses other than the direct expenses. Next, we can see the overheads. Overhead, it refers to the total cost of indirect materials, wages, and expenses. Next, we can see cost classification according to functions. Functional classification of cost refer to how the cost was used manufacturing, administration, or selling. A functional classification implies that the business performs many functions for which costs are incurred. In measuring net income, expenses are usually classified by function and grouped under the following heads. Production cost. It is the plain cost of producing a product or rendering services. It is also known as manufacturing cost, factory cost, or works cost. Material cost, labor cost, and overheads are the examples of production cost. Administration overheads. It refers to the cost of formulating the policy, directing the organization, and controlling the operations of an undertaking that it is not related to the productivity, selling and distribution, research or development activity or function. Next one is selling cost. It refers to the cost of all functions, operations, and activities that help sell the product to the consumers, ensure consumer satisfaction, organize repeat orders, and help develop market for the product of the enterprise. It includes subcost as the cost of the selling organization, sales promotion, and consumer service. Next one is distribution cost. It comprises all expenses incurred in packing, making the packed product ready to dispatching, and bringing back the empty in the existing empty cases, upkeep the running of delivery vehicles, salary, and dispatch work, etc. Research and development cost. The research cost is the cost of searching for new product, new manufacturing process, improvements in the existing product, and development cost is the cost of putting the research result on commercial basis. The next cost classification according to nature of cost. According to this classification, costs are classified into three groups: fixed, variable, and semi-variable. Fixed cost. These are the costs that tend to be constant at all levels of production. They do not increase with any change in the volume of production or activity. The example are works manager's salary, factory rent, plant depreciation, etc. Variable cost. These are the costs that vary in direct proportion with the output. If output increases by 10%, these costs will also increase by 10%. If the output goes down by 10%, these costs will also go by 10%. The example are direct material cost, direct labor cost, etc. Semi-variable cost or semi-fixed cost. These are costs that are either fixed or variable. It can be said that these expenses are partly fixed and partly variable. The most common example is telephone charges. The telephone rental remains fixed irrespective of telephone calls, while the telephone charges vary with the number of telephone calls after the permissible limit. Next classification according to controllability. On the basis of controllability, cost can be classified into controllable cost and uncontrollable cost. Controllable cost. It refers to the cost chargeable to a cost center which can be influenced by the action of the person in whom control of the center is vested. Practically, all variable costs are controllable cost. Uncontrollable cost. It refers to the cost chargeable to the cost center which cannot be influenced by the action of the person in whom control of the center is vested. Practically, all fixed costs are uncontrollable cost. Next, we can see the cost classification according to normality. On the basis of normality, cost can be divided into normal cost and abnormal cost. Normal cost. These refer to the cost at a given level of output under conditions at which the level of output is normally attained. They are a part of cost of production. Abnormal cost. These refer to the costs that are normally incurred at a given level of output under the condition at which the level of output is normally attained. These are charged to costing profit and loss account. Next classification is according to the relevance to the decision making and control. The following costs are classified on the basis of managerial decision making. Shutdown cost. These are the costs which continue to be incurred even when a plant is temporarily shut down. Example, rent rates, depreciation. These costs cannot be eliminated with the close of the plant. In other words, all fixed costs cannot be avoided during the temporary closure of the plant are known as shutdown cost. Next one is sunk cost. These are historical costs incurred in the past. They play no role of decision making during the current period. For example, in the case of a decision relating to the replacement of a machine, the return down value of the existing machine is sunk cost. Therefore, it is not considered.